1, 2, 3, FCA!
Okay, so just the last couple of pointers that we were looking at for the stand-up piece of the curriculum, Blue Belt curriculum. This is more typically a no-gi situation. In a gi, we're grabbing each other's gis. They're just there, so we're pretty much always going to grab them. But we can always go old school. And this is the equivalent of that judo lock-up. This is far more likely to happen no-gi, but we can still get into these positions. In this position, we're completely neutral. Everything I could do, my opponent could do. We've got quite good position to be able to move each other around, but what I really want to be effective is to get to double underhooks. What's going to happen though is I look by swimming my hand in this side, we rotate around, you're going to see my training partner's doing the exact same thing. So now what we've done is just reverse the direction. This ends up being a little drill that we do as a warm-up. We get live with our feet and we just work our hands backwards and forwards. And we're looking in this warm-up to eventually get to the point where if I block him and I get in, I get double unders. I'm going to clasp my hands together. Very easy takedown from here. Bring his hips in, I get low, I hook around his leg and I drive him over backwards. I can lower him to the ground, down into a mounted position. Punches, or just controlling it. From that same double unders, maybe I'm in a situation where I really don't want to go down to the ground. Self-defense situation, I've got double unders, but I'm in a crowded bar. I don't want to just dive down onto the ground. I want to be on my feet and aware of the situation. That same double unders, clasp together, just lift him a little bit. And I'm going to nudge with my leg, and it rotates him. I can go to knee on belly if I want to control him, or I could just dump him around. When we look at all these different self-defense aspects, you know, it works for competition, works for MMA, but in a self-defense situation, I see some self-defense training where it's focused on you do this and then blah, and then you kill him. Now, I don't want to kill everyone that I'm in an altercation with. Imagine a scenario where my uncle gets a bit drunk, which he does from time to time. Thanksgiving dinner, he's being drunk and obnoxious. I don't want to hurt him. I want to control the situation and calm it down. So the ability to put someone gently on the ground, control them where they're not doing damage to you or damage to anyone else, while you calm them down and rationalize with them, is actually a very important thing to be able to do. To be able to decide what level of violence to use is really what separates the trained fighter from the brawler. You know, we always have that situation of the guy's like, man, you don't know me, I just see red. You know, I don't even know what I'm capable of. I'm not that scared of that guy. I'm scared of being out with him and him causing trouble with other people. I'm not scared of him onto me. I'm scared of the guy who completely knows what he's doing and he's completely in control and has the ability to inflict extreme violence. That's the guy that scares me. Okay, so moving on the ground, we've talked about the guard. Anytime I'm this side of his legs is the guard. If his legs are wrapped around my whole body, that's the closed guard. Situation we could be in like this, where I have one of my legs trapped between his legs. This is the half guard. Goes halfway into the guard. There's a lot of different ways of passing the guard. A lot of different ways of passing the half guard. A way that I particularly like, first off, I want to flatten him out. He, in his defensive position, wants to be up on his side and getting in under my center of balance. I want to flatten him out. So I'm going to look to get under his chin, around to his armpit, and I'm going to drive him flat. And my shoulder is going to go into his chin, and I'm going to literally pull him in towards me and drive into this shoulder. My left hip gets heavy. I can control just up under this armpit, but something I really like to do, particularly when he starts trying to make a brace here, is I'm going to take this free piece of gi, and I'm going to pass it over his wrist. Pass it to this hand, still locking with my shoulder. I've taken this hand out of the game. I've got one less thing to worry about, and I've really nicely tracked this shoulder down to the ground here. This foot, I am now going to walk. See, heel and toe walk. until my foot is directly below my knee. Vertical shin. He will typically try to keep hoiked up right here on my leg. If he knows what he's doing, he's trying to control my leg here. I now need to drive this off my leg. If I reach back and use my hand, he could grab me. I should be able to clear it. It's more of an annoyance than anything else. But if I'm really dumb, he can catch that, catch me off guard and roll me backwards. I don't want to take that risk. So my push is going to happen with my elbow more than my hand. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick my leg straight at the same time as I push and clear, pass. At this point, he's still controlling my ankle. I have 3 different paths that I use to pass. Path 1, I'm going to drop my knee to the ground on this side. I'm going to come under this arm, lift up, use that to clear my foot into mount. So that's path 1. Path 2, I'm going to lift on my elbow, slide my knee in between our hips. I use my knee to drive, I pull this foot out, this comes back as a step stop, like a kickstand on a bike. He turns into me hard at this point. I could just roll straight over into mount, again, up under this arm. Third option, probably my favorite. This point, I lift up. I come under this arm and I rotate all the way till my knee's down at the other hip. I'm going to pass that key to this hand, control this arm, pull this up, kick through. If he is following me with his hips, which is kind of hard for him to do, so he's still got my foot trapped, I can use this other foot backwards to help clear. But because of the way I've twisted him up, it's very hard for him to do that. Now, because I've got this nicely wrapped up here, there's a beautiful way I can submit from here. I'm going to go back to the mount. I'm just going to put my hand through. I look for my own arm this side. I bring this across his neck, and then I just straighten both arms in this motion for a really, really tight choke. With this one, as I go for this, sometimes they pull their hand out. Really doesn't matter, I can still finish that. The only difference is he has an extra hand defending. So that was the techniques that we looked at tonight. Techniques that are on the Blue Belt curriculum: pummeling and passing the half guard. So we're coming right up towards the end of the curriculum now. We've just got a couple more weeks where we're going to tie down a couple more techniques, and then we'll have the whole curriculum worked through. Then we're going to use that foundation to build on, look at how we can interconnect some of these techniques, chain some things together, build a beautiful house on the foundation. Thanks for helping me out. Good training.
Thank you.